Hey guys, I am at, what is this, the Excel Group North America headquarters, or what are we, this is Raleigh ISIV headquarters?
Yeah, we're Excel North America, and our division is called Raleigh Electric.
Awesome, and I'm with the president of Raleigh Electric. This is Larry Pizzi. I wanted to have just like a fun, kind of a playful conversation here. We're entering a time where, you know, you start to see bikes online that are like cheaper. It's like $1,000, you know, and you can just buy this bike, and people frequently ask me in the comments, they're like, why would you spend, these bikes are a ripoff, why are you spending so much money? And they're like angry, and I'm like, well guys, there's you know, better systems are happening, you've got dealers and stuff, but I don't know if I really do it justice. You're really well spoken, and you live in this world of slightly more expensive bikes. You do have a range. I think one of your more affordable bikes this year was like $17.99 or something.
That's right.
Right, but that's still, you know, there are bikes out there, it's like $15 or $1,000. So
some crowdfunded bikes for $499.
Well, plus like 200 shipping, plus 4 months if you're lucky. And I mean, I'm trying to be fair. I'm not bashing on the Saunders bike. That's what I was hearing when you said that, because that was like one of the bikes that I think in some ways maybe it created a reference point for people who didn't even know what electric bikes were. That's great. And frankly, that bike got delivered, but it came in a huge box. I had to pay like $100. I had a shop help to assemble it, and they were kind of like, I don't know if I want to work on that. You know, you kind of get what you pay for. I guess I just want to come back and be like, why are your bikes more expensive? And what do you get? Like, where does that money go? Are you trying to rip people off, Larry? Like, what's going on?
Well, it's a great question, and it's a complicated subject. So,
okay.
You know, I'll be completely frank about it.
Okay, thanks.
Paradigms are changing, and you know, clearly with the internet and e-commerce, you know, people can buy almost anything from anywhere. You go to China, where so many e-bikes are not only in use but are being manufactured today from a wide variety of vendors. Some are higher quality than others.
Right.
So with e-bikes, you know, we have safety concerns. So I think, you know, for me and for my dollar, I'd be very happy spending a little bit more money to ensure that the product that I was buying was manufactured ethically. That's one. That is utilizing quality components in building the product, so you have reliability and something that's going to last.
The fork won't break, like
fork will, yeah.
While you're going fast, or you know,
or whatever.
I'm not trying to be a fearmonger, but literally, I got a bike online that I bought on Amazon, and the fork was bent when I got it before I even built it, and I was like, uh-oh.
Well, you know, so look, when you buy a premium product and it's fulfilled by a technician that is assembling, tuning, and adjusting, and is going to be there after the sale to take care of it should you have an issue or you need just even routine maintenance, that's worth something. At least I think to most people it is. But there are a lot of people that just want to buy it as cheap as they can possibly buy it today to have it. And so it's understandable to me why some of these, you know, low price direct-to-consumer brands are seeing some success. But the real value, you know, is what is the experience over the life of the bike. And I'm convinced that the overall best value is to buy a premium product that's going to be reliable and last a long time. And you have this service provision and a company that will stand behind that product. You know, if there's a problem with it, you know, where do you go? Who's gonna back it up? You know, God forbid you have an accident or a battery pack bursts into flames and burns your house down. It's probably a good idea to know that the company that you bought it from has insurance so that you can get reimbursed if you have an injury claim or, God forbid, a fire. You know, that's
I didn't even think about that, but I mean, look at Samsung. They put out, that's a big name company. They have these phones, and like now whenever I get on a flight, they're like, please do not bring that phone on the plane, you know? And that's a small battery compared to some of these. So I don't want to freak people out, but like, yeah, I mean, it's energy.
Lithium batteries, I mean, you know, look, lithium battery instances have been in the news for the last handful of years. The technology keeps getting better and better, and part of the technology is beyond the battery cell itself. So you can have a quality battery cell made by one of the top tier companies.
Panasonic, Samsung, LG, Sony. Am I missing anyone?
That's the top tier.
Woo!
That's the top tier. And generally, they build really stable lithium battery cells. But there are 40 or more cells in an e-bike battery pack. They're linked together by a nickel plate that joins them in series or parallel to build a battery pack of a certain voltage and a certain capacity.
Yeah.
And when you have all those cells, it's very important that they operate in harmony with one another so that one cell doesn't overheat and cause the pack to go out of balance. That's where you run into problems. So there's more to building a battery pack than just the cell itself. So when someone says, oh, our packs have Samsung cells, or our packs have Panasonic or Sony cells, that doesn't mean it's a good pack. And it costs a lot of money to have a safely engineered battery pack with a battery management system that has all this safety built into it, so that if a cell is experiencing a problem, that the pack cuts off and prevents the possibility of a fire.
Okay, so I jumped into this just curious about the value. I know there are also kits out there and stuff, and one of the areas that I've noticed in recent years, especially with mid-drive bikes, is like you've got multiple points where you're bolting this motor onto the bike. The frames are custom made. It used to be with like a hub motor, some of these kit companies, it's like you got torque arms or little things like that, but frame integrity, is that something? I mean, these are purpose-built electric bikes too, and that costs more.
Yeah, that's all we supply, is purpose-built electric bikes.
You used to have a kit, but not anymore?
Not
that was
anymore.
The Electro Drive kit?
That's really how Curry Technologies got started, is that they manufactured a kit that could be used in the aftermarket. We also supplied that same drive system in an OEM form to some bike manufacturers. Schwinn was one of our first customers back in the late 1990s.
Nice.
But we don't do that anymore because technology is taking us beyond that. And really, to deliver the best ride experience, the bike has to be function built to be electrified. There's nothing really wrong with kits. Some of the kits that are on the market today are really quite nice. However, there's always some shortcomings when you kit a bike, be it that the frame was never built to carry the extra weight of a motor and a battery pack. Generally, you're adding around 20 pounds to a bike in some critical areas.
Yeah.
And you're putting torque on the frame that it was never intended to handle. It's intended to handle human power input, not the torque of human power plus motor power.
We were in the chains and everything. You've gone down to like the really detailed level to make sure these bikes are going to hold up. So I'm not trying to make this a commercial for your bikes. So there are a lot of purpose-built, excellent bikes out there on the market, and these are some of the reasons they cost more. Back to these forum conversations and comments that I've read on my site, people are occasionally they have this weird kind of buyer's remorse with electric bikes, and it's not what you think. It's not like, oh my God, I spent $5,000. What was I thinking? It's, oh my God, I spent $500. What was I thinking? Like they want to use the bike, and then now it's in the shop forever, and it's like it doesn't feel comfortable. And that was my first experience. I actually spent a lot more than $500, and I bought a bike that looked cool, but it ended up not working real well for me. That's why I spend so much time traveling around, reviewing as many bikes as I can, and having open comments in an open forum so people can share their experience. Like, as you were saying, if depending on your situation, some people, you get the dash over there, or some of these, they could be your car replacement. And if your bike goes out, or if you get hurt on your bike and then you can't make money, and I mean, it's kind of serious in some ways. It's not just like, oh, my bicycle. It's like, it's kind of serious. So I don't know. I guess thanks for giving your perspective. You do have a reasonable range of prices here. I appreciate the kind of the bigger backing and your warranty. Do you still have, 2-year comprehensive warranty on a lot of your stuff?
2 years and a lifetime on things like the frame. There are some bike parts that have unique warranties relative to the manufacturer, but
Cool.
2 years on the critical things like all the electronic parts and the battery pack.
Do you have anything else to say, Larry? This is your chance.
Well, thanks for the chance to say something else. I do, talking about the value rather than looking at it just as how much did I pay for this bike when I bought it.
Yeah.
I think is the right approach, because you don't really realize the value until you've owned it for a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think anyone really wants to spend $500,000, $1,500 or more on something that's not going to be reliable,
Yeah.
and it's not going to last a long time. And I think you have to take that into consideration before you make a purchase.
Okay. Rock on. High five, buddy. Boop. We'll catch you later.
Thanks.